We should be streaming. We should be streaming. We should be streaming. Okay, we are live on IG. We are live on Twitter. I can see it. Thanks guys for the patience. I know what it's like. It's on Twitter. I can see it. Thanks guys for the patience. Okay, sweet. We are here. Okay, here we are. Okay, here we are. Excellent. We are on all the platforms. Good day, good afternoon, good evening to some of you that are in Europe, and even what I think it might be night, middle of the night for those of you in like Australia in the far east, or maybe the far west. I don't know which way we should look at this point, but I hope everyone is doing well. I'm looking at the different platforms, so bear with me, guys. You can drop any of your questions here at any time. I'll go through them in quick little breaks throughout the presentation today and the conversation. I want to make it more of a conversation than a presentation, so feel free to drop your comments in here, and yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about everything. Today's call. Oh, what's going on, Johan? What's going on, Juan? We got a Johan, we got a Juan, we got a Rickard, we got a Lucien in here too. What's up? What's up? Let's check out IG. What's going on IG? What's going up? Bye, Strom, Eric, Gordon. Good to see you. Sweet, sweet. Okay, so today we are going to dive into like a deep dive into one of OSIS's sister companies. I'm going to show you guys something that you may have seen, a lot of you have seen before, but it's the blueprint. It's the project blueprint, and as you can see right here in the middle of the page, it says Ethos Events Tokenizer. Let's make the screen a little bit smaller for everyone on IG to see. How about that? How's that looking now on Instagram? Sweet, so they can see it. All right. Everyone knows what apotheosis is. Everyone knows what OSIS is. That's the top of the pyramid here. If you want to look at it like a pyramid with two major pillars, OSIS being, the major pillar, CoinCare being the second pillar, which we talked yesterday. That's the financial institution aspect. That's the traditional Web2 finance part of it that kind of bridges the gap financially and allows people to swap their digital currencies to fiat and back and forth. Now, the third pillar, which is a really big deal, is called Ethos. Ethos is an events platform. Ethos is like, you could call it the Airbnb for events. I'm just going to make sure y'all can see it clearly. Sweet. The Airbnb for events. This is a project that we've been working on since 2019. 2019, guys, 2019. This was actually the first project that I started working on. It's been like, we've been deep in working on Ethos for a long time. Something happened in 2020 that we're all aware of, which is the COVID pandemic that shut things down. And Ethos is like an events, like a public events platform where you find things to do, where you build communities, where you curate your social calendar and you discover new things to do. It's actions. It's all about like meeting with people, doing social things, or perhaps even going by yourself to different kinds of events online and offline. It's like the fastest cure to boredom in the world. This is what we're seeing, and this is what we're creating in Ethos. Now, the reason we're talking about Ethos today in conjunction with OSIS is because these are two companies that benefit each other, and they are co-founded by myself and Chris, the co-founders of OSIS. are the co-founders of Ethos, are the co-founders of CoinCare. And these are projects that we've been working on for a very long time. Like I said, Ethos since 2019, CoinCare since 2021, and OSIS since late 2021. Excuse me. So what is the connection? How do they help each other? Well, Ethos is a social media platform and it's about community building and monetization of events. What happened? What happened in the world when when Uber came to exist or when Airbnb came to exist? Well, Uber essentially created millions of jobs for people and all they needed was a car and a driver's license. Airbnb turned millions of homes into rental properties where the homeowner could Airbnb their home like 4 times a month and they could make rent because they make a lot more money with an Airbnb than a standard rental property. And it was flexible and they could work on their own hours. It turned millions of people on earth into property managers and landlords, essentially. Like they became suddenly a landlord. It's not just your home, it's your home that you rent out sometimes and make really good money on. Both Uber and Airbnb created multi-billion-dollar markets, okay? And this is why we call Ethos the Airbnb for events, because it allows people, it allows creators to host their own events, to do all the ticketing, all of the promotion and hosting and payment processing, all of the organization, everything within one app. And it's social, where people can follow events and talk to each other and check and talk to each other in the event before they go to the event. People can DM each other and send each other tickets, and creators can actually send people like their events to do like things to do. It's not a closed loop where a person hosts an event and then they got to go all the way all over again and hit up everybody through the standard channels and stuff all over again. It's a huge change. And Lucien added an interesting comment. There's a bunch of side effects of Uber or Airbnb. This is true. There are a lot of side effects. There's a lot of changes. It changed the world completely. Some of them aren't positive. This is true too. Some of them aren't positive. But if you look at the greater net benefit to humanity, that's a lot of jobs for a lot of people that otherwise would have been replaced by technology naturally. Things like artificial intelligence. It's like more and more people have to kind of become more entrepreneurial in order to like thrive and even survive in this day and age. In the next 5 to 10 years, we're looking at a huge upheaval when it comes to a lot of jobs and a lot of sectors because of artificial intelligence. So we need more companies, we need more like bright thinking people in the world to create more jobs, create more opportunities for people to earn money. That's exactly what OSIS is doing. That is exactly what Ethos is doing. So I want to show you guys a demo of the platform. But before I jump into the demo, look at it like this. A social media, on average, social media as compared to other platforms in the world grow pretty quickly because it's naturally social. For example, I go to an event, I'm inviting Lucien, Monk, Juan, Johan, Rickard. I'm gonna look at the IG now real quick. I'm inviting Dr. Mikas, I'm inviting Flyboy Willie and a few other friends, right? Because that's what you do. That's what you do when you're doing stuff when you're going places, right? And so when I invite them, next day they go to an event, they invite other people and more people and more people. Maybe someone like Lucien over here is on the platform and he finds someone that he likes, you know what I mean? They start sending them some DMs and maybe he's like, hey, you want to go to this event with me? I got 2 tickets. Bam, sends them the ticket. So this kind of thing naturally grows. Maybe next day someone like Rickard or Juan is like, hey, I actually want to host something and I want to monetize it. And there's an existing community here and I can promote this event to people who are like-minded, who like this kind of event, and I can sell tickets. I've got a space in my home, or maybe I know, a friend of mine owns a bar. Let's bring some people to this place and let's talk about this specific subject. Something that some of our community members are doing already is called blockchain nights. This is something that the LATAM team was doing, Adon and some of that side of the team, where every single Thursday they go to different venues and they host this thing called blockchain nights, Noches de Blockchain, where they bring people and they teach them about OSIS, they teach them about blockchain and how they can get involved, because there are people that are very interested, but they just don't know where to go or how to find these things. And they sometimes people feel like awkward. I know I do, going somewhere by yourself when you don't know anybody and you don't know, you know, it's an awkward thing. But what Ethos does to remedy that is literally give you the ability to meet with the people online in a safe space, right? You're in your own home when you're messaging, and get to know everybody that's going to this event and go to it. You can search up different kinds of events, and the fact that anybody and everyone can make an event and they don't get charged for the service, it's completely free for everyone using it. Um, it's like, whoa, the possibilities are endless. We have some comparisons and some naturally some competitors, things like Eventbrite. We're actually partnered with them. TripAdvisor, kind of. Partyful. There's a handful of other event apps that are like, here's events. I'm talking North America. I know Europe probably has this going on too, but none of them have a truly social component where it's like you're on Instagram, but it's also like Airbnb, but it's also um, like Reddit, to some degree, but it's more real-time chat than that. I'll do one better and I'll actually like show you guys what it looks like by jumping on my phone right this minute and joining the Zoom. Let's see. I'm gonna blank out of existence potentially on this side. Okay, are we still live on IG and everything? Let's see. Are we still live on IG? Oh, okay. Okay, we are not live on IG. We're in two places. Okay. All right, we're multitasking here. We are multitasking here, and I will be showing you what it looks like on the app. Let's see this. Let's see this. Everybody good? Everybody good? Okay. Okay, we are back. We are back on track. All right. All right. Okay. You see me two times on Zoom. I know. I know. So let's start screen sharing. It's because I'm on two devices right now. Ethos is a mobile app. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, we're getting it loaded up. Okay. Share screen, share screen, share screen. Start broadcast. We are live? Okay. 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 All right. Can everybody see this? Let me know if you can see it. Great. Lucien says yes, he can see it. Can everyone on IG see it? Yep. Yep. Okay, sweet. It's looking good on Twitter. It's looking good on that. Excellent. All right, so check this out. Here are different real events that are going on right now in Toronto. When I go into an event, Okay? And anyone can create an event, okay? Anyone can create an event. You can do it right now. When I go into an event, I can see some of the details. Okay? I can see that this event is happening here. It's happening on May 23rd. I can actually join the event and join a group chat and talk to people about this event. Now, this is just me. Like this is an event that was just posted. Ethos is pre-release. It's pre-beta. We're actually going to update the beta very soon too. But you can understand that this is where you can go. This group chat is where you can go to like meet with people and get to know them before you go to an event. You can't do that on other platforms. You simply cannot do that on other platforms. Each of these pages, these business accounts. So this is one of our partnered accounts. They're called Diaspora Media Inc. Oh, here is something that I created where you can save the event, you can share the event to different friends. I got a whole host of friends here. You can share it outside the platform too. You can check out, you can buy tickets on here too. Check this out. Save a panda with this donation. All right, guys. This is just a joke event at the Toronto Zoo. It's not a real event. This is like a test thing. But check this out. You have a profile. Yes, this is an actual cat that I met in Greece. And you have your tickets. This is actually a real event right here, the Africa Unite pre-Grammy party. I was there in Los Angeles a few weeks ago. You can check out that. You can check out my followers. I've got all these people. These are real people. Look, we got some people from the community. Jerry Rome. We've got Kuluban, Lucien, Kevin. Kevin's in here. We've had some good conversations. Benjamin Odenthal. Oh, I see the MetaView. Juan, he's here too. Jeremy. So lots of different people from the community, uh, family, friends. I even got a burner account already. But yeah, lots of different people. You can follow people too. You can edit your profile. You have a wallet. I can see that I have 22 tickets sold. The current balance, because I've already been paid out, is this amount. Anybody can go and earn money on the platform, and you can start talking to people. You can have conversations with people. Check this out. I hosted a book club event and we had a full conversation in here. Like this is serious stuff about this book club event. View the event. This was free. It wasn't it's a discussion event. It's not even meant to be like a hey, let's meet up in person event. It's like a discussion. And 15 people were just checking out the conversation. Uh and check this out. Since I'm the one that can scan events and I'm the one that issue the events, I can scan the tickets and I can upload stories to the events too. So it's really interesting. There's all these tools are in here, and as a creator, you're building a following with everything that you're doing. The momentum is there. All these followers, every time I post an event, all these people get a notification like, "Hey, come check out this event." Uh, there are events that I'm going to, events that are like some of our community created. Open Web House. This was last year. There was a basketball game that I literally joined in town. Let's test Ethos. This was a test event. This was an event at the NFT show at a conference. So you can see how this type of thing it can really multiply and grow. And these people are going to be sent to OSIS as well to tokenize their business and tokenize their tickets. Okay. Like I have how many tickets? I've purchased tickets from several different projects, several different events. For example, this one, Swim in the Ocean, Gotland, Southwest. I don't know where that is. Gotland is some place in the world. But for example, I can take this ticket and I can tokenize it using OSIS tokenizer, and people on Ethos that are doing this, tokenizing memorabilia, are paying $1 each ticket to tokenize, and that money goes straight to OSIS. that usage becomes an OSIS revenue stream. So you see how more people using this platform and like eternalizing their memory, their ticket, kind of like how people keep wristbands after like a conference or a music event or a concert. Like people keep memorabilia, they get shirts, they get all kinds of things when they go to events. Now they can like immortalize and make this event permanent by putting it on the blockchain, and it'll be held inside of their Ethos account and their OSIS wallet too. Like once they set up an OSIS account, the profiles can be connected, and they can see their they can see their tokenized tickets. It's the only event platform that is tokenizing tickets. It's called proof of attendance. Uh, there is a protocol for this specifically, but more and more people have started doing proof of attendance for big events, especially like big sports events. For example, imagine you go to the Super Bowl. How cool would it be to have an NFT that memorializes and says, I was at that Super Bowl? Nobody can prove, like you can prove that you were at that Super Bowl, and it's going to show up in the events and the tickets that you went to. Like you can show people in public, like I got it like that. I've been to that event. Uh, and 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 so the possibilities are endless. There are lots of creators and hosts on the platform already, even in the beta version. These are like actual people that are here locally. I don't even know who Lee is. I don't know who Chrisana is, but she's doing her thing. There's a dude named Dave Johnson here, and it looks like he won a lot of money. The winner of the Powerball lottery. I don't know about that. Don't trust anybody that says that. David Flower, I'm not sure who they are, but they claimed a pretty cool username. So if you guys want to claim your username, you better do it ASAP. Flower is pretty cool. We've got someone named Eva in here. We've got some venues actually. 930 LA, 13,000 square foot warehouse style venue in the Los Angeles Arts District. LA Vintage, Tommy Tribe, Party Tonight. But all of this is here and it's happening, and it's growing, and this is going to be released. So we're looking to release it this summer once events start picking up. But there's a whole how do you call it? There's a whole strategy behind this to blow up not only Ethos, but blow up OSIS at the exact same time, in tandem together. Okay. All the projects benefit each other. Anytime we have people coming into OSIS, which is going to be tens of thousands of people in the coming months, they're going to know about Ethos and they're going to be able to use it because it's such a universal app. It's a social media app. It's a platform where they can go and they can make money, or they can make memories and enjoy their life meeting with people, and like bringing back the essence of community, because what social media is doing right now is kind of stripping it away and making everyone individualized and comparing to people, and making a lot of people feel really depressed about how not beautiful they are or how much their life sucks compared to these incredible influencers on Instagram and like all these platforms that they kind of divide. They don't really bring people together, but Ethos is the exact opposite. Every interaction on the platform is meant to lead to warmer feelings and a tighter community where maybe you'll find people that like you couldn't have possibly found with the friends around you. Like maybe you're into something that your friends aren't. For example, I am really into like Japanese media, like the books written by Japanese authors, and like TV and shows. I love Studio Ghibli more than Disney, okay? I grew up with that. But I don't really have people around me that are like that. So I created an event and they showed up, and I learned that there are people actually from the OSIS community that are super into it as well. So I'm like, boom, I'm a living example. That interaction is a living example of that. And I feel like that is slept on so much, the importance of that. Reddit does this really well, where you can join a community anytime you want and you find people that are really they're into things that you're into. But Ethos bridges the gap of it being online to it being in real life, where you are in the flesh with people, like creating memories. All of us know that like the most memorable parts of your life, I don't know, I'm speaking for everyone here, but think about it really hard. I want to bet that the most memorable parts of your life involve other people around you as well, not necessarily alone. I don't think anybody likes to be alone. It's it's odd. It's weird. It's unnatural to be alone or isolated. Like we as human beings have like a social part of our being, the same way dogs do, and the same way other pack animals do, where we need each other to like to enjoy life. You can only have so much fun alone, but you can have way more fun with people in your community, especially if you're loved, you're appreciated, you're respected, and you're esteemed between the people around you, you're supported. And that's the reality in the communities that we're building in Ethos. It is a cure for our society today because we are sick in the Western world. It is a fact. Loneliness is killing more people than cigarettes. It's crazy. So there's Ethos. Ethos is on its way. It's been developed over 4 years meticulously. It started before OSIS, and it is here to benefit OSIS. Ethos is going to be blowing up. It will blow up, and it will have tens of millions of hundreds of millions of users is what we see and what we're grinding towards. What that entire part of the team is, because the team in Ethos is different from the team in OSIS. This is two different teams. The common factor is myself and Chris and Vanessa, um, where we are working on both projects, but they're working hard. And the team on that side, several of the members are people who are super connected in Los Angeles, in different parts of the world, that have hundreds of event promoters available to them in their network that are more than happy and willing to jump on Ethos because they don't get charged extra fees. They keep more money when they promote and sell event tickets on Ethos. And they get to recapture the momentum of their audience. They get the analytics, they get the tools available to like retarget their people rather than doing all this work all over again to sell more tickets to the same people on their next event. They can just hit the exact same people because it's a social media and they have access to their following, and they can keep building on their project. Now, I'm going to pause for a moment and look at the comments here. Roke, that's a long username, but Roke asks, how will the platform guard against scammers? That's a great question. The way that money distribution works, like payment, is something that we've learned from a few different platforms, from both Eventbrite and Airbnb, where like there were lots of scammers on both of those platforms. They've been around for several years. Excuse me. We learned from them how to combat scammers. And the easiest way is not to pay out the full amount to people, to event hosts, until they scan your ticket, until the event has started and they're scanning tickets. Simple as that. If you're an event host and you want to get paid, you can't get paid unless you're scanning people's tickets coming into your event. You cannot get paid until people are there and you're actually hosting an event, like you pull through with the event. And even then, if something goes crazy wrong, people have the right to get a refund, and people will review and rate you just like they do on Airbnb, where if someone says, hey, this Airbnb host is a scammer, you better believe that nobody else is going to follow up and pay that host. So fortunately, there are several platforms that have come before Ethos that do fragmented parts of what Ethos is doing, that have gone through the ringer, and they've experienced all the scams and all like the bad actors on their platform, the bad creators. And so we're able to learn from their mistakes, and I believe that's the absolute best way to learn and improve any mistakes. It's like it's better to learn from someone else's mistakes than to go and make them yourself and get harmed and make your own mistakes and learn. It's obviously unavoidable. Some things we're gonna have to, learn along the way. That's that's natural. That's every single human being's life, every single project's life. But where we are learning from our predecessors, the older established companies and projects. What did they do right? What did they do wrong? And now let's learn from their mistakes and implement that here in Ethos. We have that benefit. We're fortunate because we're coming out in 2024. The same goes with OSIS. We've studied a lot of different projects. We studied a lot of different companies, Web 2, Web 3, even before that. With Ethos, we studied something called the 67 Human Universals. It is like, from a psychological perspective, it is like fundamental things that human beings experience that we all have in common across cultures. And and one of these fundamental things is the desire and need to feel loved and safe. These are two things that every single human being absolutely needs. You need this just like you need air, just like you need food. And Ethos provides these two things. The potential for these two things, to be loved and to be safe, will add to be respected. I believe love and respect are kind of interchangeable in that context, but this is what is being built in Ethos, the intangible value that a person can receive if they take that first step, right? The platforms here, a person only has to take that first step to join a community, to join an event in reality, to meet the people online where they feel safe and they can communicate with people from the comfort of their own home and be like, okay, I'm going to this thing alone, but I know that John, Jerry, Jane, and Debbie are going to be there. And I talked with them and they're really cool online and we went in each other's DMs and I feel safe and I feel respected and loved because I'm coming to this event with cool people and we all have this thing in common. It's like friendships can naturally be built, and we're finally using, as a society, the internet and social media to bring people together, not divide each other like the way other socials are doing, where everything is hyper individualistic and people are always comparing each other. It's like, no, let's bring it all together and like heal this world from that perspective. That is a huge part of what not only OSIS, but the Apotheosis group is doing, is like, yo, we're trying to heal this world. From one side, it's building a free economy. From the OSIS side, we're trying to build a free economy. We want to tokenize the world. We want to give everyone the opportunity at financial freedom and to support projects and causes and movements that are important to them and also benefit back. There is, it's a two-way street on OSIS. On the Ethos side, we're looking at it more of like the social societal sickness that is individualism, that is the division that we've all created through social media and the comparison thing going on, where everyone's trying to compare against each other and flex and flaunt on social, instead of being like, hey, we have all this stuff in common. Let's unite and let's like love each other. Let's appreciate each other. That's two huge parts. And in both cases, people are making money for these actions. Build a community, make money. Host events, make money. Doesn't matter who you are. Tokenize, make money. Get involved with projects, make money. And when you create value like that for so many people, we are talking about billion-dollar projects because we are in billion-dollar markets. If you look at CoinCare as well, that's a multi-billion-dollar market. Finance, banking, the housing industry, all of these things, it all comes together. And the reason we're having this specific conversation today is to give you a preview into what is coming tomorrow, which is talking about the decentralized sovereign organization of OSIS, of Apotheosis, and how all of it ties together. We're going to show you the whole picture, and we're going to be featuring Chris on here as well. It's not going to just be me tomorrow, it's going to be both of us. And we will be like, it will, all the things will click and you're going to understand how everything works together over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. This is not a small project. These are not small steps that we're taking, okay? It's huge. It's big. It's bigger than me. I know there's going to be thousands of people around, not just the community, but thousands of people within the company as well that are building it, that are pushing it, that are putting their blood, sweat, and tears every single day, like myself. It will grow and it will keep growing beyond me. Like, I will die and this will keep going because it's a movement. It's not about me. It's not about Chris. It's not about anyone in the team. we're building this for the greater world and for society, to give everyone the vehicle, to give everyone the tools to make a huge change in what we've been experiencing in the world. We need this. That's what we've recognized. This is something that is needed. It's something that solves a lot of problems and pushes everyone in the right direction. The same way Bitcoin did in the very beginning when Satoshi Nakamoto released the white paper. He was like, hey, the current economic and financial system is broken and it's extremely centralized, and no people have control over their finances and the money. Like, money is controlled by other people. You as an individual have no ownership truly. The banks use your money constantly to make investments and make money for themselves. The governments and the central banks are printing money like crazy and devaluing our currency. The middle class and the people, the vast majority, are the highest taxed group of all. Like middle class people, working class people are paying more in taxes dollar for dollar than people who are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. This is a fact. Who was it that said this? Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is perhaps the greatest modern investor of our day and age. He made hundreds of billions of dollars for people. He owns a good chunk of Coca-Cola and other companies like Apple. And he said his secretary pays more in taxes than him, for example. So it's like, okay, our system is kind of in disarray. But Bitcoin came in and it was like, look, we're going to create a decentralized system that puts the power back in people's hands and allows people to have ownership over their economic, their holdings, their finances. This is what Bitcoin began, and that created Ethereum, which created smart contracts, which created the whole decentralized web, but Web3. All of these things happened for a reason, because we need these things to happen to balance things out. We are out of balance right now as a world. Things are super lopsided. So this is like a group effort. This is a global effort too. And this is why we believe you need to come at it from different angles too. Like, if we're solely focused on the financial side, on the Web3 side, you're still missing out and leaving out like the mental health side of people, where it's like, if we keep being individualistic, how are we ever going to be communal? How are we ever going to be united? We need to figure out how to unite and be together and to feel safe and loved and like find some level of comfort in your heart and some support, a support system, right? Through Ethos, through the communities that are being built. And then also involve CoinCare, where you have the financial infrastructure where it's like, hey, that's your own bank. That's not a random bank that you can't really trust and you don't know what they're doing with your money. It's like, no, that's your own bank. CoinCare is your own bank. That's everyone in this community. That's ours. That's everyone's bank. It's not controlled by one small group. It is member owned. Everyone's a part of it. And so you have all these parts. There are going to be more parts that are not involving us. There are going to be other partners that we get together with. Lucien said, yes, let's heal the world. Me first. Hey, we're coming for you, brother. We all support you. So don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. You got a support system. You have a whole community here. And I want to say the same for everyone else. It's not just Lucien that's supported. It's not just me that's supported by you guys. It's like, hey, we support all of you. Like, this is a safe space where you can like openly express, talk about, your ideas on how you want to make change in the world or your life, because they say be the change you want to see in the world. It's like, that's exactly what we're doing as a community, as a whole, as individuals too. It starts with the individual, of course, but this is like, we're trying to create a safe space. Ethos is a safe space. Go there, find your vibe, find your tribe. We're gonna coin that term. It's in the old Ethos documentation, but we were like, find your vibe, find your tribe, find your people, find your communities, build your communities. If you're more of a leader type person, you can do it. I'm gonna show a quick video to give people an understanding of we'll say the financial side, just for people to understand, like, The team, myself and Chris and the team around us, we're like born and bred entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 13 years old. So I've been an entrepreneur and self-employed for more than half of my life. Uh, 16 years now. I'm 29 years old. 16 years I've been an entrepreneur. Um, Chris as well. Chris has been Chris was like a touring musician at 13 years old. You guys don't really know much about that or his history, but he was like literally doing tours and shows all over North America at 13 years old playing bass, and he was like 5 foot tall or maybe even a little bit shorter than that. Like he was a kid, and he was doing really well in music and getting paid. Like he is. We've been in this industry self-sufficient for a really long time. And I wanted to show you what it looks like when a professional from the venture capital, the investment industry, when a venture capitalist, someone who has been in the tech industry, investing in technology since the 1980s, what is their reaction when they see something like Ethos? Now, we have another video where he looks at OSIS and he understands and it clicks and he loves OSIS. But this video specifically, since we're talking about Ethos today, talks about the valuation of Ethos. Now, this guy, his name is Mark. He was a part of the investment team. He was the CFO of a company, of an investment company in Los Angeles that invested in Facebook. They invested in Snapchat. Actually, when Snapchat was blowing up, he was the person that did the analysis on Snapchat. I think it was 2011, 2012 when Snapchat reached several millions of users, and Facebook, Microsoft, and I believe Google, a handful of major companies offered them like $5 billion, a valuation of $5 billion cash to buy out Snapchat completely. Now imagine these two guys that are co-founders, or I think it's two or three guys, Evan Spiegel and this other dude. They just started this Snapchat company, and it's just an app that sends pictures, and it doesn't have any revenue generation, and it doesn't do anything else. It just has a bunch of users, and they're all young people. And this app became a phenomenon over like a year. They went from zero to like I think it was 40, 50 million users, which is a lot of users very fast. And so these big companies were like, hey, let's buy Snapchat, your social media platform, for $5 billion. And at that time, the founders of Snapchat said, no, we are not going to sell out. We're going to keep pushing and keep growing. Okay. It's an interesting decision because they decided to instead raise a bunch of capital from private investors. And one of these investors was Mark and his firm. And so Mark did the analysis and he helped them come to that decision to be like, no, we're not going to sell at 5 billion because you're worth more. This is what Mark helped convince them, that you're worth more than that. And they were worth more than that because 2 years later, they went to market at $20 billion valuation. That's a pretty big jump. To wait 2 years for $15 billion more, that's a pretty big jump. And so they raised capital from Mark's venture capital firm. They raised investment basically in order to push. They raised hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's a big game that they're in. And the reason why they were worth so much is because of data and what the platform generates, the kind of information it generates, and the kind of user base. So when Mark saw Ethos, he's retired now, but he got like way too excited, and he created this video to show essentially what the valuation of the company looks like and what is the one driver that pushes the valuation of a project. This is like a peek behind the curtain. People normally don't get this kind of an understanding of how do investors think, how does the greater market think, right? When a company goes to public exchanges, like whether it's crypto or it's like traditional, where you go to the NASDAQ or you go to like your country's major exchanges. People don't really get this perspective of how professional investors think. Valuation is different from revenue. It's different from what people think it is. Valuation has more to do with potential and like potential monetization. It has a lot to do with potential. So I'm gonna play this video. It's really interesting. And like I said, this has directly to do with OSIS. I'm telling you, everything that Ethos benefits from, OSIS benefits from. Let me know if you guys can see this. Sweet Lucienne said yes. Okay.
So this is how I do my mod score. So basically, what I see is you have 3 different categories. We call them sellers. Those are your pro members, right? We have events, and then we have tickets or members, people buying stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right. So how many tickets have you sold, right? And so every time someone buys a ticket, they have to sign up for Ethos. But our member numbers are going to be able to. So don't try to read it too much. You're gonna lose your brain on this for a second. So it's a waterfall. So let's say I have 10 pro members. Each one can do 10 events. That's 100 events. Okay, that's our MVP. Okay, and each one of those events has 100 people, which is 10,000 tickets.
Right.
Okay. If I extrapolate off of that and I go, that's kind of a seed market. If I go to 1,000 and 10,000, you can see the numbers, right?
Right.
Now I'll show you numbers down below that are just way bigger than that, because this is just for me to value your company. So from a valuation perspective, but I'm going to show you like real bigger numbers, and then we're going to have to do a much bigger model around this. A much bigger model around this, so it gets to 3.7 billion. Okay. Right. So these things are how I value the company and the points at which I value your company. Right. So at 10,000 tickets at $50 a pop, that's $500,000 flowing through the system. Okay.
Right.
That's not your revenue. Don't worry about your revenue. Don't worry about any of that shit right now. That's just $500,000 blowing through.
Yeah.
That company is worth, in my estimation, and I'll run it through the mod score, when I get to the really hardcore stuff, that company's worth $100 million.
Wow, right away.
Yeah, so you give me 10 producers that do 10 events each, and get 100 events in 90 days and get 10,000 tickets sold, you're worth $500 million. I mean, $100 million, which means, so this is the metric you have to understand. This is going to blow your head. Okay. So the metric that's the most important in here, and the thing that's going to drive your entire business, is the value of each one of those, what we call ballers or sellers or people that each one of those guys in this model is worth $10 million in this model. Every time you grab a person and they can do 10 events early on, it's worth $10 million to me. Now, when I get 1,000 of those people, when I get 1,000 Chris's and let's say 1,000 Chris's and 10,000 events and 1 million tickets, that company's worth $1 billion, even though it only got $50 million going through, and even though you're only taking 2% off of it, the revenue's low. That is worth $1 billion. Each one of those guys is worth $1 million. Right. At scale, it holds. So if I do 10,000 Chris's, 100,000 events, 10 million tickets, 500 million, that's a $10 billion company. Each one of those is worth $1 million. Now, over time, that'll go down. Each one of those people will be worth less and less and less, which says the most important thing you got to do is those people.
Right.
And guess what? That's exactly what that's who you are.
That's what we're doing.
That's what you're doing. So when you think about metrics, the only thing you need to think about is that getting those people to sign up and do events. When people then buy the tickets, they'll have to sign up for Ethos. You're then going to have these members, whether or not they stay, whether or not they're active. I don't give a shit about that. No, VPs are going to be like, oh, they're coming back. Who fucking cares? No, I don't care about that yet, because the numbers are so huge, right? So from a sector perspective, the thing that drives your sector value, which is the most important, is these people. To me, they're ballers or pro members.
Let's call them ballers for now. Ballers is cool.
And the people that put events on, they're the haulers. They're hauling off all the goods. They're getting the tickets. They're getting the merchandise. That's our haulers, man. Okay. So the ballers are the ones that drive our sector play. We're at a social network kind of right now, and then we're going to go. MarTech was really marketing technology. We're marketing this stuff, and ultimately we're a marketplace. The industry is music, entertainment, and IRL. I got rid of all that finance shit. And then, my customers are ballers, crawlers, and haulers. So you get to $10 billion if you can get to 10,000 Chris's. the important thing right now is, okay, so this is what I did. What I took and I stratified your market, right? Small, medium, large, 10, 100, 1,000. I have MVPs. Year one, I do 1 million. Year two, I do 10 million. And year two, I do 100 million events. I mean, year five. Year one, year three, year five. So this is kind of like, I did like a stratification driven off of events. And then I did what the percentages of each one of those events would look like. And then how many tickets how many events I had, and then how many tickets I sold. So in year five, if I did 100 million events, I had 3.7 billion tickets sold. And so this model to me is just like, this is a simple model that said, you know, in year one, 60% are 100, 30% are 10, 10% are large, right? And then it changes in the out years. At year five, 80% are 10 person, 19% are medium, and 1% are the 1,000 plus, right? Again, we can just run those numbers around. The numbers get really big, right? Because basically what you want to do, the value you're going to get is, if I had all of the same numbers in LA, my value is not as much. So in this MVP, this is dependent, the number of events is dependent upon the fact that $100 million valuation is the fact that I have Sao Paulo, I have LA, I have Miami, and then my home base of Toronto. Yeah. That gets you that valuation. If it was all in LA, it's okay. It's a third of that. It's 30 million bucks. And the answer is, every baller I get that can do 10 events is worth $10 million to me today. So think about this massive market. You're talking about a massive, and so the monetization of this market is another model. So you have to have a scale model that scales these three things out. And then we're going to have to scale out the members and how the members interact. And then we're going to have a commerce model that said every event produces so much in revenue and we get a piece of that, or there's all kinds of other shit off of that. Like that doesn't even matter. Like that's like, you know, it's like when this is a WhatsApp model, right? Like I just need to have a lot and to show that I can take a market over and that I can change behavior, because the behavior is going to be, I'm flying to Madrid tomorrow, and I know when I get there, there's 4 fucking cool things I want to go, 4 events I want to go to.
What to do beforehand, yeah. That's
like, you're going to transform these economies, just like I'm trying to transform the business economy. You're transforming the social economy of it, right? Which is really the IRL, right?
In real life.
That's where we marry, because when I go into these markets and I want to light up Madrid for the Ventureverse, I want to start having events where I can get entrepreneurs in and look at their deal flow, right? So I need this. And then when those people want to have events for their products and stuff, they're going to have Ethos events, right? So, and that's going to create hype, which on my platform is going to create valuation for my digital venture, blah, blah, blah. This whole thing just spins up.
There we go. There we go. So that was a real deep dive for anybody. I want to say there was a lot of golden pieces of information for anyone that's trying to build their own project and their own business. You get to see the point of view of someone that is like in the industry as an investor. Lucien said, I can't imagine how organized your computer must be. If it wasn't organized, I could not function. That's a funny comment. I'm going to check out the comments real quick here too. Sweet. Okay, well, hey, we'll move forward. Yes, with all your old files and videos. Yeah, well, I have a decade worth of content that's very neatly organized. Thank goodness. It has to be. It's the only way. It's the only way to do anything. But hey, that is the little piece of information I'm going to leave everyone on. We are still on the road to listing. We have a pretty big conversation today with a huge exchange, adding the 3rd exchange. So I said Bitmart has already been confirmed. MEXC is confirmed. They are down with us listing. Now we want to add one more major exchange. We have 2 immediate options that I'm not going to mention their names just yet until we get some kind of a, hey, you're in. They each have their own due diligence processes. I want to make sure that it doesn't take too long. Sometimes exchanges need a whole month, and I'm like, that's That's too much time. We don't have a month. We want to list ASAP. So we're gonna have these conversations, and and I'll keep you guys updated on how these two conversations go. The OSIS pre-sale, pre-listing sale is still open. Anybody and everyone can get in before we list. Right now it's 50 cents. At listing, it starts at 55 cents. We are listing with at least 20 million potential new buyers coming to the platforms, coming to see OSIS. OSIS is on CoinMarketCap. It is a verified currency on the blockchain. It is on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. It has been verified by Certic. We've got all of our ducks in order when it comes to that. We have everything ready. Now it's all it comes down to is completing the raise and securing at least one more major exchange to complete the trifecta. The third company, Yellow, that we were planning to list with, they actually asked us for more time past this month. So I'm like, okay, so that means they are kind of second priority. They're launching like a network of exchanges where if you list with one being Yellow, they basically list you on multiple exchanges. So I'm like, that's great. That's great. That would have been excellent today, but they're still in the process of launching their exchange. So I'm like, okay, Yellow, fantastic. Now we have a business partnership and a relationship, and we'd love to be on all like a dozen more exchanges. Like that would be an epic other listing offering, but we can do that later. And so that's second priority because we want to list in the next 30 days. So now we're talking 2 other major exchanges to add it as the third to create the trifecta and really push this thing. So remember, we are raising capital for that. It is a huge opportunity for us, the project, and the community to get involved today and to benefit with the listing and with everything moving forward. And remember, guys, this is just the first step. Like I already mentioned, Yellow is going to put us into dozens of more exchanges right after. We are on the path and road to being on Binance on a like multi-billion-dollar exchange, which will push the project to whole new heights. And we're making sure to follow the steps that have been laid out before us by our partners, by our market makers, and our exchange advisors who have shown us the path to go from point A to point Z, where it's listed on the biggest exchanges in the world with tens of millions, hundreds of millions of users. It is all coming together. I am super excited, and we are going live every single day until we list, okay? So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. If anyone missed parts of this, don't worry about it. It's on YouTube. It'll be available. It's on Twitter as well. It'll be available in the Twitter feed. Just look up OSIS World on both platforms. You'll find it. For the Discord users, I'll post it in Discord. But it'll be great if you guys go look for yourself as well and explore. We're giving a lot of information, full transparency on these live streams. I want to make sure that everyone is up to date and they're making educated decisions and they understand and can see the vision of what's next. A lot of people don't recognize or realize that, hey, if Ethos hits tens of millions of users, what does that mean for OSIS? If Ethos hits $1 billion valuation, what does that mean for OSIS? You got to think about these questions and understand, like birds of a feather flock together. Success breeds success. That's what it is. When you take multiple shots at goal and one goes in, the rest start to flow. Everything starts to work and everything can push everything else. And this is exactly what we're trying to create here with the communities. Like you guys come, you make a project, we want your project to win because your project winning means other projects are going to be winning. It means OSIS is winning, which means everyone can keep going up and grow further, stronger, and tighter as a community as we support each other and like build a whole new world when it comes to a free global economy, when it comes to better mental health, better social activities, where we have tighter communities in all over the place, even completely unrelated to finance, completely unrelated to Web3. We want to help everybody. And we want to allow everyone to participate in that as well. So this has been day 3. Day 1, we talked about OSIS. Day 2, we talked about CoinCare. Day 3, we've talked about Ethos. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about the decentralized sovereign organization, the DSO, which is OSIS, which is Apotheosis, the bigger picture of how it all connects together. So I've given you some tastes. You can kind of extrapolate and think about it yourself. But tomorrow we're going to guide you and help you get the full vision from ourselves. And that'll be with my co-founder, Chris, as well. So for now, Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you tomorrow.